You could find a high-paying remote six-figure tech role, even if you have no technical skills or coding knowledge. Are you unhappy with your current role and income, or bored of your routine, repetitive job? If so, you should consider getting into the tech industry because it's so unique and dynamic. It's always booming and there's so much money in it. I'm gonna share a detailed step-by-step guide on how to break into a tech job even if you have no tech experience. If you don't know who I am, my name is Mo. I've been an IT project manager for over 12 years, working with large companies like Microsoft and governments like the city of Toronto. At the age of 25, I became a vice president in a $100 million company. At the age of 29, I became a VP in a $100 billion company. Now I'm founder and CEO here at SkillHat, where we train people in tech skills and help them get into tech jobs. Today, we're gonna learn 3 things. Number 1, how to identify the right tech role that lets you live your dream perfect lifestyle. Because there's no perfect job, there's no dream job, but what you do have is the right job that allows you to live your perfect or dream lifestyle. Number 2, the steps to land that role. And number 3, how to get the right help so you can get it done as fast as possible in a fun way with the least amount of stress possible. Now there's 6 strong reasons to get into tech, 6 reasons. Number 1 is tech has a strong career stability. There's so much demand for these tech roles because we're so dependent on technology as a society, as consumers. So there's always gonna be demand. Number 2 is career mobility. You can move around, you can have remote work, you can work in all parts of the globe for all different kinds of companies. So you could be in the US and Canada working remotely from home for an American company, or you could be working for a French or European company because a lot of tech roles are remote. In addition, the impact you make on the world is so profound and so vast with tech because you have products like Facebook, Amazon with billions of users, like 1 billion people is a whole country. So when you work on tech products or in tech teams, the impact of your work is very far stretching. The next is high pay. The tech industry has the highest income across all industries. It gives you a chance to innovate. That's the 5th reason. So you can innovate a lot and build new things. And last is just fun. It's just a fun culture, fun working environment. So those are 6 strong reasons to actually get into tech if you're considering it. I have a few success stories to share here of people who were not in tech. One was in the healthcare space as a nurse. The second actually transitioned from being a security guard. These are people who I work with personally. This is not people who I saw or heard. These are people who I trained. And for example, Chantel, she was a recently graduated nurse when I met her, and her issue was she loved the healthcare space, but the problem was the long hours, the emotional toll of taking care of patients. And she said, okay, this is great, but how could I work in the healthcare industry without necessarily doing patient care? And so she got trained as an IT business analyst. Now she works as an IT business analyst, helping healthcare organizations and hospitals to implement healthcare systems and healthcare software, working in a dynamic role and a high-paying role. So we're very proud of Chantel. The second is Abiola, one of SkillHat's alumni. She studied sociology at the University of Toronto. He was working as an Uber driver and security guard before we started working together. He wanted a high-paying career, a decent-paying job, and a high-paying job that had growth, right? So not working Uber and security and doing multiple roles, but a high-paying role. And so he learned product management and business analysis, and he got into now his dream job. He works as a product manager with the Toronto Raptors. So he's in his dream job, and these are people, these just goes to show that as examples of people who have got into a tech role and are happy with their situation with no tech background. So the next thing I want to talk about is how to identify the right tech role for you. How do you identify the right role for yourself and choose the right role for yourself? Well, I want you to understand that there's different areas and different roles in tech. So if you look at my screen, you'll see that in the middle we have the customers, change managers, the business teams, the technical teams, and industry practitioners. And so first of all, if you're already a tech user, if you already use Microsoft Word or Google Docs, if you're already using Instagram, Facebook, whatever your favorite app is, you're already privileged. You already understand how technology works, how it's being utilized, the benefits of social network and e-commerce, etc. So you're already in the ecosystem. Now, tech is always about the customer. So you're already a customer. Now you need to just put on the hat of a producer to solve for people like yourself. Now the second is, on the top right, is what we call a change manager, right? This involves the project manager, the product manager, the business, the technical team, industry practitioner. So let's start with talking about the change managers. This is where most people who are non-technical often find their first footing in tech. So I'll skip to the business and come back actually. So the business is the owners of the organization, those who own the customer. If you're talking about, for example, the founder of the company, the CEO, the executives, the project sponsor, tech sales, huge booming role you can consider, operations and product marketing. So these are all different roles you can get into in the tech space. You could be a tech sales leader, you can do product marketing, operations, or you could be a founder or an entrepreneur or be an executive, a business executive, an account executive. In addition to that, you can actually be a change manager. So now the change manager, aka the project manager, the product manager, the BA, these are the people who work in between all the different stakeholders and keep them aligned. So this is really my sweet spot and where I help people a lot to become project managers, business analysts, product managers, even trainers, technical writers. This is probably the best place to get into if you are trying to break into tech for the first time. And then you'll see we have the technical team. This is where a lot of the jobs are as well, right? You have lots of jobs in software development, quality assurance, software architect, a UI UX designer, a data analyst, or doing some IT support. And then on the bottom right, you'll see the industry practitioner. The industry practitioners, these are people who are regulators, vendors, they support the industry. So this is a good way of thinking about the different roles you can take and where you want to play. And so how do you determine what's best for you, right? There's 4 things to help you figure out which might be best for you. Number 1 is your background, your academic background and work experience. Essentially, you want to leverage what you already have, right? Whatever high school degree you have or college degree is relevant in the tech industry, right? So you need to understand with my current skills, where am I most valuable? Second is your personality. Are you introverted or extroverted? Very important to work in a role that typically leverages your existing personality. So for example, if you are highly extroverted, like myself, you like to run meetings, communicate with people, lead teams, coordinate, mediate, collaborate, then there's roles that fit that personality, like a project manager role, a product manager role, a business analyst, for example, a trainer, etc. These roles are roles that leverage the interpersonal skills and connect and support tech team. Whereas if you're more introverted and you like to work alone, you can consider roles like being a software developer or a QA, quality assurance analyst, or etc., right? Or a data analyst, for example. Those are more roles for those who may be introverted, who prefer working alone. Then we have the third thing is how technical do you want to get? And how technical are you today? So the more technical you are, maybe you studied math or engineering and you like technical things, you like coding, building things, you like designing pixels, designing interfaces, then you consider more technical roles. Now, if you're not technical and you don't like being technical, that's totally fine. If you're more so a manager of people and a person who organizes and likes to collaborate, then you can get into more of the non-technical roles. So that's the third thing you would consider. And the fourth is your personal situation. Where are you in life right now? How much time do you have? If you're young, you have time, you have energy, then okay, you can invest in the role that gives you a chance that you need to learn over a longer period. So my point here is, depending on your personal situation, you may not, or you may have the time to invest. So short term, mid-term, and long-term. You need to make decisions that support your short-term situation, mid-term situation, long-term situation. And so if you're a mom, you got 3 kids, you just came into the US or Canada, maybe you were a banker back home, and you're saying, hey, I don't have 2 years or 4 years to go back to college. You might want to consider a boot camp and take a short program, a short course that helps you learn the skills you have to learn in a short time, translate that into getting into a role, reaping the benefits, and then continuing to learn to get into a higher paying role and building in that way. So that's 4 things to consider: your background, your academic background and work experience, your personality, your technical depth, and your personal situation. Okay, so if you're unclear or you've thought about this and you want to talk to someone, I would love to talk to you. Okay, at this point, you can hit me up, go to scalehead.ca/book, to book a call with me and my team. We can have a conversation to assess your personality and all these things we talked about and build you a tailored roadmap to get you into the right tech role. And what's the cost of this? 0. It is completely free. This is my service to you. We have a quick call and we figure out what is the right roadmap for you. So go to scalehead.ca/book to book a call with me and my team. Okay, now just so you know, I only work with motivated people. If you're not motivated and you're not thinking about this the right way, hey, I only work with motivated people. The second is that we only work with people who are in the US or Canada, who have legal permits to work here. So FYI, book a call. So here's the 4 gaps you have to fill to land a high paying tech job, right? You want to think about it in this way. There's 4 gaps you have to fill. The first gap is the skills. Okay, you have to learn the skills. This is pretty obvious, right? Most people understand that if I want to go into a role I haven't done before, I have to learn the skills. Now, even within that though, there's 4 sub-levels of that. So you have the skills that you need to fill, which is the first gap in the 4 gaps. Within the skills, there's 4 things you have to do. 1 is learn the technical skills, 2 is learn the soft skills, 3 is learn the tools for the trade, and 4 is to become certified. okay? So technical skills for the role, maybe if it's a developer role, might require learning technical stacks like databases, right, for example, and programming languages. If it is a designer role or project manager role, for example, a technical skill for a PM or project manager might be, for example, budgeting, the project methodologies, etc. Now, the next thing is the soft skills, the skills, the people skills. Those are required a lot of the time, especially in people managing roles. Like project managers need to have skills like negotiation, running meetings, for example, dealing with conflict, right? You gotta learn the technical skills and the soft skills. Because a lot of times people just focus on the technical skills as well, and they can't do well in the interview because they don't seem to have the right personality, or they get into a job and they lose that job because they can't build trust with their colleagues, or they have conflict. So you have to learn technical skills and the soft skills. The third thing you want to get into is the tools. Every job in tech has the tools for the trade, right? So if you are looking into, for example, a developer role, you might want to learn things like GitHub and all the other skills a developer will learn. Or if you're a project manager or you're a business analyst, for example, the tools might be tools like Jira, Confluence, Microsoft Visio, Balsamiq. These are tools for the job, right? And the fourth is being certified. Certifications are huge in tech, a lot more than many other roles. So you need to get certified. Whatever role you're considering, there is a global certification for that role. You want to get into that. The second gap, once you've conquered the skills, is the hands-on experience. You want to build the hands-on experience for the job. So essentially, the first time you're doing the job will not be at the job, it'll be before the job. And what I mean is this, do the work before the job. I'll give you a scenario, right? Let's say you had a leaking toilet, right? You had a toilet leaking in your home, it was nasty, and you had to get it fixed as soon as possible. Now you could choose between one of two plumbers, plumber A and plumber B. Now plumber A went to the Harvard of plumbing. He has watched 100 YouTube videos and he's graduated with a plumbing degree, but he's never actually fixed a toilet. Now plumber B, on the other hand, did not go to school for plumbing. Instead, he was an apprentice under a master plumber. And in that time he was an apprentice, he was able to fix 10 toilets on your street. Who would you go with, A or B? Now most people would say B because he has the experience. And that's what's going on when you want to get into a new role, any role really, is you need to demonstrate that you've done the work before you get a high paying job. Before someone trusts you with their situation and their environment, you have to demonstrate you've done that already before. And so I recommend getting these hands-on experience through a bunch of different ways, like networking, doing it where you are right now, etc. The third gap you want to fill is your marketability gap, being marketable, right? Being marketable for the job. This is very important because a lot of people have the skills, they have the experience, but they're not marketing themselves well. Oftentimes we have these skills, but we're not telling our story well. So being marketable means you become a magnet and you attract the jobs to you, right? So marketability comes from a few things. Let me break that down. First is even knowing what roles you can qualify for. Two is having a strong resume that attracts you to that role, right? Lots of resumes out there just suck. It's just the truth. Three is your interview skills, how well you interview, and then four is your LinkedIn profile, right? And just to show you an example of marketability, I'll use another metaphor. Say you went to the grocery store, you wanted to buy yogurt, and you saw yogurt, a bunch of yogurt in a pack. You see one that kind of catches your eye, you like the color, you like the look, you like the fonts, and it looks clean. You say, okay, you know what? I like the price as well. I'll take it, I'll take it home and I'll try it. You take it home, you try it out, it's pretty good. You say, okay, you know what? I made a good decision. I liked it, I bought it, I'm gonna keep buying it. Fantastic. Now, say you went to that same grocery store and you saw the same product, but the packaging was all black. There was no name on the product. It was leaking out of the pack, it was dirty. You would never buy that same product, but it is the exact same product. And that's what marketing is and how you market yourself as a professional. As a professional, how you package yourself, how you communicate, how you dress, how you present yourself online is key to attracting the right opportunity. You're gonna get to a point where you're still marketable, you don't just apply to jobs, jobs will apply to you. And the fourth gap you wanna solve for is your network. You wanna build a network that opens doors for you because there's a hidden job market, and that is the truth. There is a hidden job market. Only about 30% of jobs are actually even posted. So 70% of jobs that exist today are not posted. And so how do you find those jobs? It is through networking. Especially as you go higher in your career, it's not just also what you know, but also who you know. And so it's important to network. You want to network with peers, people who can refer you for jobs, who can say, hey, my company's hiring, here's the tea, here's the juice, here's who's going to interview you, here's what they're going to ask you, here's the answers to the question. A network of executives and mentors, people who could be your boss, who can influence the hiring manager and say, hey, I know that guy, I know that lady, I'll put in a good word. So once you fill all these 4 gaps, you will be successful. You can actually fill these gaps yourself. You can learn right here on YouTube the skills. You can volunteer where you work, right? Or get a volunteer role to get the experience you need to position yourself for a high paying role. You can learn with a college as well. And you can build your marketability. However, it might take you a while. Doing it alone is not interesting. It's not fun. So if you would like to learn how to solve for this gaps using the Skillhat 4-gap method that's helped thousands of people land tech skills, the average alumni from the Skillhat programs who uses this 4-gap method with us. So we've built a process in the program that drives you through all the stages in this method that helps you build the skills, helps you get the experience, helps you become more marketable through coaching, and helps you build a network. Remember, you can book a call with me. Go to skillhat.ca/book to book a call with me. If you want to learn how to land the tech job of your dreams through the 4-gap method, just click here, go watch this next video. You're just one click away from a life change.